2026 FIFA World Cup, 48 nations, 3 host countries, the biggest tournament in the history of football. And yet, some of the greatest players on the planet won't be there. Whether it's a heartbreaking injury, a nation that failed to qualify, or the cruel hand of fate, football has robbed us of some truly incredible talent this summer. Today, we're counting down the top 10 best players who will not be at the 2026 World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to feel the pain, from torn ligaments to entire nations collapsing in qualifying. This list is going to hurt. Let's get into it. Number 1. Gnabry might not be the flashiest name on this list, but let me tell you why his absence genuinely hurts Germany heading into this tournament. This man was absolutely crucial for Die Mannschafts qualifying campaign. No player appeared more often across qualifying and the March friendlies, 8 games in total. He was set to be a key part of Nagelsmann's system on the wing. But in mid-April, disaster struck. A serious adductor injury picked up during training with Bayern Munich ended his domestic season and ended his World Cup dream. Germany will now rely even more heavily on Jamal Musiala, himself only recently back from injury, and young talents like Leonard Carl to fill the void. For Gnabry personally, this is devastating. At 30 years old, World Cup windows don't come around forever. This could have been his defining tournament. Let's go to the number 2. Xavi Simons, 23 years old, one of the most exciting young midfielders in European football, and he won't be at the World Cup. The story is genuinely tragic. Tottenham Hotspur had just recorded their first Premier League win of 2026, beating Wolves 1-0, when Simons went down in the second half clutching his knee. A CL torn, season over, World Cup over. Now, Simons wasn't guaranteed a starting spot for the Netherlands, but he was very much part of Ronald Koeman's plans. He's the kind of player that changes a game off the bench. Bursting runs, creative passes, an eye for goal. His absence reshuffled the Dutch midfield considerably, putting even more pressure on Tijani Reinders to carry the creative load. For a kid who grew up dreaming of stages like this, torn at the exact wrong moment, it's absolutely heartbreaking. Get well soon, Xavi. The 2030 World Cup better watch out. Oh my god, guys, let's go to the number 3. At number 8, the man Japan was counting on to help them go deep in this tournament. Takumi Minamino, the Monaco midfielder and former Liverpool fan favorite, tore the anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee back in December. With 73 international caps and 26 international goals, Minamino is one of Japan's most experienced and reliable attacking players. He scored 4 crucial goals in qualifying. 4 goals that helped Japan even get to this World Cup. And now, he won't be there to enjoy it. Japan are still a dangerous team. They have Ritsudoan, Kaoru Mitoma, Wataru Endo. But Minamino's experience, his ability to operate between the lines, that clinical edge, it leaves a hole. Japan could go very far at this World Cup. Just imagine how far they'd go with Minamino fit. Guys, I think it's the time of... Okay, I'm giving this slot a special double entry, because what happened to Italy deserves its own chapter. Italy, 4-time World Cup champions, one of the most decorated footballing nations in the history of the sport. And for the 3rd consecutive tournament, they are not there. Let that sink in. 2018, 2022, 2026, Italy, gone. Gianluigi Donnarumma, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world. The man who won Euro 2020 for Italy, who is the undisputed number 1 at Paris Saint-Germain. He will not play at a World Cup. Sandro Tonali, the heartbeat of Newcastle United's midfield, one of the best box-to-box players in world football. World Cup? No. They went out in the playoff final, losing on penalties. Again, the Azzurri continue to suffer one of the most stunning collapses in international football history. Honestly, for neutral fans, the World Cup feels a little less like a World Cup without Italy. Their absence is a genuine scandal of modern football. How does this keep happening? It's a crisis, and 2 world-class players, Donnarumma and Tonali, are the biggest victims. Top 5 coming in at number 6, And this one stings for an entire continent. Victor Osimhen, the Nigerian striker who terrorized Serie A, who fired the Napoli to their first Scudetto in over 30 years, one of the most dangerous center forwards on the planet. He will not be at the 2026 World Cup. Nigeria, ranked 26th in the world, fell to DR Congo in the CAF playoff final, losing on penalties. Again, on penalties. The drama, the heartbreak, the controversy. There were even wild allegations circulating in the Nigerian camp about behind-the-scenes behavior. It was chaos. And alongside Osimhen Ademola Lookman, the 2024 African Footballer of the Year, the man who scored a hat-trick for Atalanta in the Europa League final, a genuine match winner. Neither of them will be in North America. Nigeria have now missed 2 consecutive World Cups. For a football-mad nation of 200 million people, this is a national wound. Africa deserved both of these players on the biggest stage. The number 6. This one carries extra emotional weight because of what it means for a legend. Robert Lewandowski, 37 years old, the most prolific striker in Bundesliga history, the man who scored 41 Bundesliga goals in a single season, breaking a record many thought untouchable. A Champions League winner, one of the greatest number 9s to ever play the game. And in 2026, his international career ends without a World Cup to show for it. Poland lost in the playoff finals to Sweden. A cruel 2-2 draw settled on penalties. Poland twice came from behind to level it, showing heart. But Victor Gyökeres, of all people, scored the winner for Graham Potter's Sweden. For Lewandowski, this is likely the end. At 37, playing in North America next summer simply isn't realistic. He deserved better. Poland deserved better. To never have a World Cup golden boot, to never go deep with his nation on the biggest stage, is one of football's great tragedies. Thank you, Robert. Oh my! The number 7! And while France still have an embarrassing amount of attacking talent, this one matters. Hugo Ekitiké, 22 years old, Liverpool striker. A player who had been having an absolutely sensational season in the Premier League, forcing his way into Didier Deschamps' thinking, scoring in both November and March internationally. He was set to go to his first World Cup, and then Liverpool versus PSG in the Champions League quarter-final. An awkward slip, a sound no footballer ever wants to hear, a ruptured Achilles tendon. He left on a stretcher, in tears, at 22. France manager Deschamps himself said the injury was a huge blow for the national team. And yes, France still have Mbappé, Dembélé, Thuram, Olise, Doué, Barcola, who was proving everyone right, taken by injury in the most brutal fashion. Football can be incredibly devastatingly cruel. Guys, the number 8. The number 8. The top 3, and Brazil fans, brace yourselves, because this section is for you. Rodrygo Goes, Real Madrid's electric winger, one of the Champions League's most clutch performers, a man with a habit of scoring goals when it matters most, gone. In Real Madrid's shock 1-0 loss to Getafe in March, Rodrygo came off the pitch with what turned out to be a torn ACL and meniscus in his right knee. He took to social media to describe it as one of the worst days of his life. He was Brazil's second top scorer during qualifying with 3 goals. He was expected to be a central figure in Carlo Ancelotti's setup, and Brazil's problems don't stop there. Rodrygo's club teammate Eder Militão also ruled out with a hamstring injury requiring surgery. Young Chelsea sensation Estevão, racing to recover from a serious hamstring injury, left off Brazil's preliminary squad. Brazil head into this World Cup with huge question marks on the flanks. For a team built on flair, skill and individual brilliance, those are some serious wounds. Rodrygo would have lit up this tournament. Instead, he watches from home. Heartbreaking doesn't cover it. The number 9. The man many of us grew up watching as one of the most gifted footballers on earth. Neymar Jr. Let's be honest with each other. This one doesn't just hurt, it closes a chapter. At his peak, Neymar was magic. Genuinely, breathtakingly magic. The dribbles, the flair, the audacity. He took Brazil to the semi-finals in 2014 before injury ended that dream. He was there in 2018. He went to Qatar in 2022, hoping that would be his World Cup, and he tore his ACL against Croatia. And now, 2026. After joining Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, Neymar's injury record became impossible to ignore. He barely played. His fitness was a constant question mark. The Brazilian national team moved on, building around Vinicius Jr., Rodrygo, the new generation. Neymar is no longer part of Brazil's World Cup picture. At 34, with a career ravaged by injuries, it seems almost certain that the 2022 World Cup was his last, and it ended with a penalty shootout exit, not the fairy tale finale a player of his talent deserved. Say what you want about Neymar, the controversies, the drama, the theatrics, but the football was something else. Brazil without Neymar at a World Cup is different, diminished, in a certain kind of magic. He deserved a World Cup winner's medal. He never got one. That is football's loss as much as his. The last is... The number one biggest loss at the 2026 World Cup is the sheer accumulation. Italy without Donnarumma and Tonali. Brazil without Neymar, Rodrygo, Militão. Potentially Estevão. Nigeria without Osimhen and Lookman. Poland without Lewandowski. Netherlands without Xavi Simons. Never before has a World Cup, even one expanded to 48 teams, felt this stripped of marquee names. This is the most star-depleted World Cup in a generation. And yet, you know what? That's also what makes it exciting. Because somewhere in that vacuum, a new hero emerges. A new name gets written into history. That's football. That's the World Cup. So there you have it. The top 10 best players who will not be gracing the 2026 World Cup stage. From Gnabry's adductor to Neymar's fading prime. From Italy's third consecutive qualifying nightmare to Rodrygo's shattered ACL dream. And sometimes it takes from the best. Let me know in the comments below. Which absence hurts you the most? Is there someone I missed? Who do you think will fill the void and become the star of 2026? And if you want to see our video on the players who will be the stars of this World Cup, the link is right up there. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.